All right. Let's ease into tonight. Slide the sound down so it's not in the way. And let's fix our sort. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and we are creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5.5e specifically. We are working with Martial Powers right now. We've been building out the Martial Powers book for DMsGuild. It converts. Hold on. Can you see what I got going on here? Can you see what I see? Where are you supposed to see? Let's go. Here, color, mana, spell, point, variant rules. There you go. This is the system that we've been working on here on stream for the past 4 years. We're now illustrating in the mornings for the actual book. It converts the martial characters of barbarians, fighters, monks, and rogues into a half-casting monk mana sort of system. And hey, what's going on, Loki? It just converts the martial characters into monk short rest mana characters that they can then use that mana to prepare powers and expend, kind of like half-caster progression does. You get your mana back on a short rest, like I just mentioned. There are mana scales from 1 to 5, and we have the powers here that we've been developing here on stream and playtesting on my Discord server for the past 4 years. We're at around, I don't think it's 198. I think it's more like 100. I want to say like 180 in total. We have the chapter to that book, to the book that we're publishing. We have the powers chapter extracted here specifically so we can go look at specific powers today while we start building magic items. Our goal today is to go through the armament tables in the DMG, common through legendary, and see if the point system that we've developed, our crafting point system, will accurately quantify the items that are on all of these lists. So we did weapons and armor, of which a large portion of armaments are weapon and armor. So most of the armaments list is already done, but we haven't done a lot of the implements. So we're going to kick through armaments. It probably won't, we might be able to get it done one session, maybe two, depending on how much endurance I have tonight. But we'll go through the armaments, and then we'll do implements next. And once we've gone through all the weapons, armor, armaments, implements, we should have a good baseline to verify that the point values in this crafting system that we are assigning to magic items is good to go. Common magic items have 1 or 2 points. Uncommon have up to 4 points. Rare have 5, 6, or 7 points. Very rare have 8, 9, or 10 points. And legendary magic items have 11, 12, 13, 14 points. You could have more. But the point breakdown, like in the DMG, a common magic item is going to have a maximum gold piece value of 100 points. That's with 2. So each point is worth 50 here. Uncommon, 3 to 4. Uncommon magic items cap at 400 gold pieces. So from 100 to 250 to 400, that's 150 gold per point. And hey, Steve, it's good to see you, my dude. Rare magic items, 5, 6, and 7. It scales in the rare. Rare magic items scale up to 4,000 gold pieces in value in the DMG. So 5 points is, again, it's 400 points plus 1,200. Plus 1,200 is 1,600. Plus 1,200 is 2,800. Plus 1,200 is 4,000. So each point in the rare table is worth 1,200 apiece. Very rare, 8, 9, and 10. It caps out at 40K, so 4,000 here. Again, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000 takes you to 16, 8, 28, and 40K. And then legendary magic items are 11, 12, 13, or 14 points. It kicks up to 200,000 gold maximum. So if we start at 40K, then 11 points is 80K, and then 120K, and then 160K, and then 200K. Basically, every point you add after 10 is worth essentially an extra 40,000 gold. And you don't technically have to have a ceiling. We don't really calculate artifacts because they're built differently than just static craft design. They have they have the major and minor properties and disadvantages, and artifacts are a little bit more complicated. So we're not building artifacts right now. We're just going from common to legendary. We've been discussing this with some of our play testers about how available should this power gear be to artificers for crafting. And I've decided I want to go full bore. So the replicate magic items, when we're looking, hold on. Actually, I closed this document. I don't know why, because I knew I was going to end up referencing it anyway. So here's the Word document that we're currently building the Martial Powers book with. And so we've got the chapter 1. We still have to do the intro page for character classes, and I still need to do the multi-classing page. But all the character classes, Artificer, Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, and Warlock, they're all done. We're tweaking the language a little bit here and there. We're doing a little bit of editing where we find it. But essentially, the replicate magic items clicks in at level 2. In the player's handbook, it goes 2, 6, 10, 14, and then stops. So what we're going to do here is basically replicate magic items is going to be, you can look at, you can still create all the plans and replicate magic items for all the items that are listed for the Artificer in Forge of the Artificer, so I don't have to duplicate that. And then I can say, or any magic items that are listed in Magic Item Chapter 4. So we can build out a whole bunch of gear from common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary. And what we're going to do is go level 2, you can do common power gear. At level 6, you can do uncommon power gear. 10, rare. 14, very rare. And then 18 points, you can do legendary. So that's just how we're going to have that sit. When we eventually come around and do, we'll probably end up doing an Artificer's an Artificer handbook separately from Martial Powers and the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules to lean into Artificer specifically to hopefully flesh out some of those rules a little bit more. But the thoughts that I'm having right now is that power gear is different from magic items because we're making power gear with a very set formula. I don't think I'm going to actually include that formula in this book. Even though we're using this book for that, I think what I want to do is make that a Creative Commons separate document on how to build magic items with crafting points. And then go through, I think there's magic items in the Creative Commons, but if there's not, we can make up a bunch of our own using these same rules. And just to change the name, scratch off the file, like scratch off the serial number, and still be able to publish all these ideas with the point system, and even use Martial Powers, and just not necessarily break down the point value so heavily. So we'll walk through that process, but when we get there. But I think what I want to do is I just want to focus down and just build out a good, robust list of power gear magic items in Chapter 4 for this book that are just specifically power gear, not messing around with anything in the DMG or any kind of spells in general, unless they're coming off of the Ranger, Paladin, well, I guess Ranger, Paladin, Warlock, Pact Magic, and Artificer lists. Technically, that 1 to 5 level scaling still works. In the power system, it's the high magic level 6 to 9 that starts to screw up your numbers. So we're going to trim that down to reduce confusion, but then later separately we're going to build that up into a larger document that we can then send out and use on our Patreon, on Discord, on DriveThruRPG, Twitch.io, stuff like that, whatever. Wherever we want to send it, we can send it. But I mostly want to end up making that a perk for people that follow me and support me on Patreon, because those guys deserve a lot of love. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all my Patreon supporters. It is long overdue that I gave you something delicious. And I think the magic point system is going to be the tasty thing to offer people if they want to join up for me with $1. So, hey, Stream Boo, welcome to the mix, buddy. Man, it's not a good session unless we have a spam bot come here and disrupt my concentration. Bless you, Stream Boo. Okay, so that's the point system, but we're still using this point system. We're just not lifting up the hood completely to say, here's how we built them. I mean, you can, of course, watch these videos and join my Patreon to get access to this stuff. If you want to give me $1 a month instead of buying my books, God bless you. Thank you for the support. And thanks to all our new subscribers, both on Twitch and on YouTube. It's amazing seeing people supporting the stuff that we're doing, both the artwork for these books and the mechanical design for them. I am in love with this process, and it wouldn't be nearly as much fun if I didn't have all you guys here checking it out. And, of course, all my playtesters, the vast majority of them came from streamers here that were checking out my channel and decided to jump into my Discord And then on my Discord, when I opened up a new playtesting game, that's how a lot of our team ended up joining. So it's awesome having you guys around. Thank you so much. Now that I've gotten all that stuff off my chest, those ideas and gratitudes, let's dive into it, right? We'll see how far we can go. So we've got armaments set up, and again, we're just going to break this. Instead of going through the DMG alphabetically, we're going to do what makes more sense and just go through the armaments by rarity. So rare, and then very rare, and then legendary, and then so like boots of speed we already have built here. We'll get to those. We have the armor here, so we'll just be able to traipse through this stuff. So the idea here is to how accurately we have a lot of the weapons. Everything that has exclamation points here lines up perfectly with how the point system works and the DMG sits. Like 0 issues, straight out of the box, as listed above on our point value chart here of breaking things down. It works to the T. So these are good. If it does not have an exclamation point, it's going to be weird. Like Demon Armor's Cursed, it does weird stuff. But like some of the legendary magic items, they are just like it's very difficult to calculate, like to break down mechanically without creating specific rules for that item alone, which I am opposed to doing. Like the Shield Cavalier. So some of them were wonky, and if you check the last few streams, you'll see how difficult it was to making those things fit in. But the rest of this gear just pretty much snaps into place. So especially the weapons, they all snap right into place. So everything that has these exclamation points work perfectly with the martial power system as it exists without having to do any kind of looking at anything sideways to make it work correctly. So I'm really happy about that. But ultimately, we're not going to be including all these things. We'll see how much of this stuff is in the Creative Commons that we can then say, like, hey, here's a point value breakdown, like how Flame Tongue, Frostbrand, and Bloody Blah work. We will include Flame Tongue, Frostbrand, and Vicious Weapon in the Martial Powers book, because Martial Powers changes how these weapons work. Kind of like how you can't stack dice when you're making D20 tests. The extra damage that you get from Flame Tongue, Frostbrand, Vicious Weapons, they don't stack. They come directly off of your maximum mana. So like a Flame Tongue provides 2 power dice of damage and basically channels the Flaming Strike for you. If you are attuned to the Flame Tongue weapon, that means you now have the Flaming Strike power prepared, and every time you use Flaming Tongue, it will pay 2 mana to use Flaming Strike to do either 2d6, 2d8, or 2d10, or possibly even 2d12 damage without you having to spend any mana. So if I'm a 4th level character and I get my hands on a Flame Tongue, I shouldn't. But if I did, because I'm only 4th level, I only have d6s. And my maximum rank of power at level 4 is only 1. So out of my own mana, I can only spend 1 mana at a time whenever I channel Flaming Strike as part of an attack. Which means I'm only dealing an extra d6 damage of fire. It's d6 fire damage. And of course, then you catch fire and have to take an action or make a saving throw to put yourself out. You just automatically catch fire. Flaming Tongue is great. And of course, you can turn on and off the light source with the flame, blah. But if that 4th level character has Flame Tongue, it pays for 2 mana for you. So I'm only 4th level. It's going to do 2d6 fire damage and catch somebody on fire for 1 of those dice of damage. And but once I get to, say, the 5th level, again, it's going to be 2d6 because the maximum amount of mana I can channel on Flaming Strike at level 5 is 2 mana, 2nd level 2 mana. But at 9th level, the Flame Tongue becomes a 2d8 weapon because I am a 9th level channeler. I have d8 power dice. The Flame Tongue is providing 2 dice for free. So every time I attack with Flame Tongue, I'm doing that 2 martial power dice of damage as a 9th level character. That's 2d8. But my maximum power level as a channeler at level 9 is 3. So that means I can put up to 3 mana into any strike power. Flame Tongue pays for 2. I could either take 1 point out of my mana pool, or I could sacrifice my reaction to gain a free point of temporary mana that I could then immediately spend on Flame Tongue. I now have 3 mana going into my Flame Tongue. It is 3d8 damage instead of what's listed in the DMG. I think it's 2d6 or 2d8. So Vicious Weapon works the same way. Frostbrand works the same way. And those are the only 3 weapons that actually do that in the game. But it's a good point. Like you don't, like at 9th level, you wouldn't have 3 mana worth of damage that you could deal by spending mana myself, and then add on an extra 2d6 damage from Vicious Weapon. That's overclocking the system. And like with stacking dice, when you're making D20 tests, the Bless spell and the Bardic Inspiration die, and like say rolling 3 power dice, it's not going to be like 2d6. It's not going to be like d8, 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 a d10 from the Bard, and then a d4 from Bless. Going to be a total of 3d8 plus d10 plus d4 plus my d20 plus my ability score plus, assuming expertise, double my proficiency to clock somewhere around like I could hit like a DC 62. That's stupid. Instead, the stacking dice on D20 test, there is none. If I have a Bless and a Bardic Inspiration die and I want to spend 3 mana to roll 3 8-sided dice, that's fine. I only keep the best result out of 5 of them. I can't take credit for that. That is actually an Essence 20 idea from Renegade Games that created G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Transformers, and Power Rangers. They're now shifting gears into 5e. I'm very interested to see if they go with this stacking dice idea as well to stay inside the bounded accuracy curve. Because at best you're going to roll a d12 and have expertise for 12, and then have maybe a +5 or maybe +6 or 7 in a stat by 20th level. So in general it's going to be a +5. Expertise that's +17 right off the chip. And then at best you're going to get a d12 on top of that, which is still going to be crazy because that's going to be a +29. And your die roll, all you have to do is roll a natural 1 and you're automatically hitting the cap of DC 30 that's in that bounded accuracy curve. But you are highly specializing yourself to be able to hit those numbers with the stat that you need and proficiency in the thing that you're doing, expertise in that thing that you're doing, and to have a power that's going to line you up on a D12 or have a Bardic Inspiration die available to you. You're burning your resources to guarantee you're going to run hella well on that die check. And that's what the nature of 5e is. Spend resources to roll high, go burr. So that is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So it was the system in place is encouraging us to spend mana to see if we can hedge our bets to get above that like +5 bonus. Because that's where we want to be. We want to be above a +5 bonus once we get to like level 9+. Like we want to be a +3 or better at 1st to 4th level. We want to be 4 or better at level 5 to 8. And then at level 9 and higher, we want to be a 5 or higher. It just gets easier and easier and easier for us to get that +5 bonus. Because it's basically adding on another ability score on top of whatever it was. It was like every time you made a stealth check, you could use your dexterity, your proficiency, and like say add your intelligence. Like you're that kind of a stealthy character. You're that good. Like a mastermind might do something like that. Those are crazy good stats to have all those things factoring into your D20. So that's why that power die is useful, because it gives us like basically that extra ability score worth of bonus to our D20 test. And of course, when it's damage, throw on as much dice as you want. I don't care. Crit and roll them twice. That's cool. Go right ahead. It doesn't break the game. The DM is going to know, a good DM knows how much damage your team is capable of putting out and calibrates the hit points of the enemies to get you to around somewhere between 3 and 6 rounds. You'll just kill them by hitting them. And they'll just be dead no matter what if you don't come up with something clever to end them quicker. So like if you're just calibrating your game, so on average you're defeating every battle they have in like say 3 to 6 rounds, like I said, you're basically calibrating your game to be pretty good regardless of how many people you have on your team. It's gonna take longer the more people you have, but if you can just pace out how much action economy do they have and how much damage can they do with that action economy, and then you pace the damage that your creatures can take at that same rate, you can pretty much calibrate the game so it's floating somewhere around 4 or 5 rounds per decent battle from level 1 to 20. It's a very easy way to milk the system. So that actually makes 5e incredibly easy to run as a DM. You can ask my playtesters when they're around. I will grind them down so somebody's always on death saves. It's like if they're going through a dungeon, they're expecting that they're going to be on death saves at some point. Or if no one goes on death saves, they're all going to be basically nuked down to almost 0 resources left. Like burn their mana down to 0 as a result of going through this gauntlet and coming out the other side most likely alive, but completely taxed for doing it. So they have to take a rest. To me, that's good pacing as a DM in a high combat challenge game. And I love high combat challenge games. I like to build mysteries and puzzles around an event or location that once the team delves into it, they start finding things to cleave. And once they cleave through those things, they find more pieces of mystery and puzzle to then further figure out. That then leads them into new sequences of just destroying shit. And the aftermath of that is leading on and on and on. And then that refreshes to a new bastion turn and new situations arise. And then they start picking at the edge of something. They find something and then they destroy it. And then they come out the other side of it of having more pieces of mystery to move on. That is just a naturally, progressively generating campaign that's always rewarding them with good fights, good information, and magic reward and resources on the other end of it to build them up to take on the new set of challenges. But that's just DMing 101 in a nutshell. So we'll eventually make videos about this stuff. I keep promising that I will. And that promise keeps creeping closer to reality. So stay tuned. We will be building tools and ideas like this in more formalized published videos. But I like talking about this stuff in stream because this is the underpinning philosophies that drive the game design that I build here on screen with you guys and then art the hell out of in the mornings and then publish on DMsGuild or soon on Patreon and DriveThruRPG and blah, blah, blah. So, again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and checking this stuff out. So, let me see. Let me make sure my screens are all straightened up. Okay, great. So, Armaments. Armaments is where we're at. We're just going to peel open the book. We've got our list of armaments here. We already did the Armor of Gleaming, so we already have that one done. We already did Cast Off Armor. Those are both down here in the list. I could extract them from the armor list and add them to armaments, but I just leave them where they're at. So the Armor of Gleaming here, it's common item, Cast Off Armor. Cast Off Armor, there you go. It's a common item. I don't know what the hell a Dreadhelm is. Let's find out what a Dreadhelm is. Our first common implement. I bet it makes a frowny face or something. Like the expressive shield or whatever that thing is called. Shield of Expressions, I think. Whatever. Anyway, man, I'm really liking how the book cover for this is coming along. The Etten is really coming together. I'm liking where the heroes are at. The lighting's starting to feel good. I think it's going to end up being a really, really good piece when we're done with it. I'm excited about it. I'm glad we decided to stick with it. And I'm glad you guys talked me off the ledge of considering changing it because I really am just falling in love with it. And I love that. I love when the piece captures me and just demands that I make it. I'm hoping to have a lot of those opportunities in the interior art of the book. We're going to end up picking up a lot of my stock art that I've already created that leans into these ideas that are going to be good fits, but we're going to probably spend time making them better, like glamming them up and basically just quality of life improvements, but we'll also be doing a lot of original art as well. So months of it. Probably, I suspect this will publish hopefully in May. I suspect that late, May 27. And then we're going to just dive right into the spellcasting, the color mana core mechanics for spellcasters. We're just going to dive right in and update that one too. So maybe by this time next year, all 14 character classes, including the Scion, will be completed as mana-centered character with all the subclasses published in 5.5e being available. And, of course, we'll then work on the subclass, the archetypes of horror. We'll work on the Heroes of Faerun subclasses, the Arcana Unearthed subclasses. We'll do those as well, and then Dark Sun will be out by the time this publishes and we're working on the Color Mana book for spellcasters, rebuilding that one. So we'll have, and then Dark Sun as well. And we're going to publish all of those as separate standalone supplements to complement this array, saying like, here's all the stuff that you couldn't do you can do in D&D. Here's us converting it into the MTG point system, and here's all that content for you guys. Take a look, and that's going to take us through 2027. So in 2028, we'll probably be at a point where we can start working on publishing the Bastion campaign system that we've been working on for the past 3 years here, and that we're currently playtesting in the Mecha Kaiju game. And 28 will probably also be able to then also publish the Mecha Kaiju book to help round out the Spelljammer series that we've been doing, and to cap off the Bastion campaign system so that we can start building campaigns the way that I like to build them in 5.5. But I digress. We were looking at the Dreadhelm. Sorry about that, guys. I can't help myself. This Fearsome Steel Helm makes your eyes glow red and hides the rest of your face in shadow while you wear it. Okay, that's just a cantrip effect. So 1 point equals cantrip, minor illusion effect, and that's worth 1 point. DMG equals common. There you go. Straightforward. So that was that item. So let's go back through. And so we had the Moon Touch Sword already. We have the Shield of Expression. We have the Silvered Weapons. We have the Smoldering Armor. I don't think we have the Sylvan Talon, though. Let's look at that one. And we don't have Veteran's Cane. So we're finding some stuff here. We have the Walloping Ammunition. That was the last one that I did. Silver Talon. Weapons. Common. While this weapon is in your person, you understand the non-written communication of all Fae, and they understand yours. Non-written communication. Okay, so that would be... you understand the non-written communication of all Fae. That would basically be like a Fae language sort of effect, which is basically a proficiency. Let's see. Origin feat, I think you can take. Yeah, skilled is an origin feat. I could learn 3 languages. That would essentially be basically every way that you could communicate with a Fae. So I would say that'd be worth 1 point. Basically, the skilled feat and just dumping it into languages would probably cover the bill. So I'm going to call that one. What is it called? Sylvan Talon. Oh wait, I buggered this one. This was Demon Helm. Hey, let's do that. Let's underline these things. Hey, have fun. I hope you guys are having a good night. I'm a little juiced up, if you can tell. My gal's surgery went incredibly well. And thanks to everybody's well wishes about her. She's resting, so I've got some time on my hands. Yeah. All the kidney stones came out. They removed the frostomy bag. It looks like she's going to have a full recovery. She's just doped up because if you don't know the process, they snake a stent up your urethra so they can put a laser up inside your kidney and play asteroids with the rocks that are in there, turn them into dust, and then let them fall down through the stent. So and typically you have to leave the stent in place for a week. It's pretty fucking painful, as I understand it. So she's hopped up on goofballs, getting through the stent. To be able to come out the other side completely free of stones and right as rain. So with God's grace, she's going to be okay for many, many years to come, and we won't have to worry about it. So thanks a lot again, everyone. This is the Sylvan Claw. Sylvan Talon. Sylvan Talon. That also means that my schedule should be returning to normal pretty soon. Common. We'll go DMG equals common. We're going to go 1 point equals skilled. 3 languages. That is origin feat, which is worth 1 point. And that is it. Oh, no, we have Veteran's Cane. Don't want to get ahead of myself. What was that called? Demon's Helm? Dread Helm. Thank you. Dread Helm. the reward we get for finishing all these items is we get to start building our own. And this will give us a good idea of what armaments and implements, weapons and armor should be, for us to then start using the power system and just basically extracting all these different powers and blending them together in different ways to create interesting magical gear. Like for example, a hood of blind sense. You know, that might be obvious, but I don't think one exists. So like that'd be fun. Put this hood on, and not only can you just see through the eye holes, but you now have blind sense, which is really useful because hide is now invisibility. So the basically blind sight gives you the ability to see invisible things. And now that hiding is invisibility, you cannot hide from people with blind sense unless they have full cover, total cover. And I love that. It's such a little small mechanical detail, but it's lovely. So we could blend together a whole bunch of different stuff. So like a medic kit of breath of life, and like rally and regeneration. We could and we could put those three things into a magic item and call it like a med kit. And it will be like a rare magic item to have all those three things available. And then we could add in power batteries to pay for those different things, burn out the battery, have a bunch of basically mox crystals holding mana for us, so you could plug mox crystals into gear to power it up to use the thing for like a med kit. You might only use it now and again. So you can do object interactions, slap a power crystal in, and then as a bonus action or action, use the med kit, pop. Now I've healed you. I'm going to get back to battle. Like a crash kit. So like ideas like that. Maybe that's a little mundane, but that sounds like a really useful thing just to carry with you if nobody wants to play the cleric. Like I mean, there you go. Anyway, get back to work, Kearney. Veterans Cane, thank you. It's supposed to be something, and in the DMG it equals common. I don't even know what this thing is yet, so I don't know what it does, so I don't want to make any presumptions about how it's going to shake out. So let's see. As a bonus action, you can transform this walking cane into an ordinary longsword, or change the longsword back into a walking cane. In either case, you know, see holding the item. Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, that's cool. Sure, we could make that 1 or 2 points, I guess. I don't think I have something. That just literally duplicates that. Like the Sylvan Talon, that was easy enough to translate. And the Dread Helm, that was easy enough to translate. But changing... Oh! That's what it is. Perfect. What this is a demonstration of damage types. Basic damage types, if we go back to here. This is so fun. Where is it? Here we go. You know what? I don't have it listed here. I did not include it. I should include it. I could include it. Give me a second. Meh. Let's do like this. Piercing. Oh, I need bludgeoning in there. Slashing. I was gonna leave it out. Like, who cares, right? But no, it turns out it has a purpose. Let's get necrotic lined up here. Thank you, and then psychic damage. Thank you, and then radiant. And then thunder. 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 Okay, so what's the idea here? Basic damage types. So basic damage types is acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, piercing, poison, slashing. So again, the martial power system allows characters to expend mana on powers that they prepare. Where is the screen I want? Thank you. The disciplines of exploits, maneuvers, reactions, strikes, and sustained powers expend mana. But the techniques of weapon masteries, damage types, and feats, they're like cantrips, different level cantrips. They don't require any mana to use. Once you prepare them, you just always have them available to you to use whenever applicable. So the combat mastery is obvious, blah. But the damage types here is, so the idea is if it's a basic damage type, with our point system, it's only 1 point for a basic damage type. And now that we're looking at bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage as basic damage types, this Veteran's Cane, it says it transforms into a sword, but basically this is basically a bludgeoning weapon. It's a cane. You hit people, you do bludgeoning damage with it, but it has the basic damage type of slashing. So I could choose to deal bludgeoning damage or slashing damage with this cane because it's magically infused with the ability to deal slashing damage. So when I hit you with the cane, I can make the shaft of this become a sharp edge that cuts you, or I could just leave it as a blunt curve as a bludgeoning damage. I could change them. Or I can make it deal cold damage when it hits you, or at higher levels, necrotic damage for advanced damage types. So these are the advanced damage types: force, necrotic, psychic, radiant, thunder damage. So that's the idea there. So in summary, this is a common item. Come back here, buddy. There you are. Veteran's Cane. 1 equals slashing damage. And that is basic damage technique. See how that works? So now it's 1 point. Our Veteran's Cane deals slashing damage whenever we want to, and we don't have to spend an action changing it from one or the other. I just hit you with the cane. I just did slashing damage. I just like cut your hamstring, whatever. Common. And that's all the common armaments that there are. So let's move on into the uncommon. We've already looked at adamantine armor, adamantine weapons, ammunition +1. Bracers of archery is new, so let's go look at that. I don't remember what it does, but I've got an idea of what it's going to do. So let's go down. I'm excited. Yeah, Veteran's Cane works great. So we're going to go with Bracers of Archery. Honestly, I really enjoy. I mean, it's tedious, but I enjoy going through this process and seeing how the things that we have in martial powers just naturally lean themselves into this point system for building magic items. It's actually it tells me the power system that we have is thorough. Like, it covers a lot of ground because we can duplicate almost anything we see in the DMG as powers. It's almost like what's all the magic items in the book? Let's turn them into powers and give them a point value. There you go. That's how much money you spend. Blah. So, braces of archery. While wearing these bracelets, you have proficiency with the longbow and shortbow, and you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls made with such weapons. All right, then. So we're going to go with an uncommon magic item. Can have up to 4 points in value. So check this shit out. 1 point equals proficient longbow. Technically, I don't know if there's an origin feat for weapon proficiencies, but skilled gives you 3 skill proficiencies. I think yeah, there is, isn't it? It's like oh god, I want to say martial initiate. I think it's an origin feat. I think that exists. Anyway, proficient with longbow equals origin feat. And then another point, proficient with shortbow, origin feat. And then for 2 points, we don't even need a general feat because we have the fighting style, right? The archery fighting style. And if we go to the archery fighting style, I love this song. It's fun. I mean, I'm a little off kilter here. I'm a little off the beaten path here, buddy. Oh, that's just fighting styles in general. Oh my god. No. Let's try that again. This isn't going to end well for me. Nah, this is the old version. That's Legacy. Come on, man. Fuck you. God, this website is horrible. Maybe I'd give them money if it worked. Archery. Thank you. Hey, look at that. You get a +2 bonus on your attack rolls made with ranged weapons. Fighting style. Fighting style, 1 point. Basically, or a gem. There. So that's 3 points. Look at that, uncommon. Look at that, it works. It just works. It just works. I love that. All right, what's next? Already had Unspelled Armor and Weapons. Ooh, Gauntlets of Ogre Power. This is not going to have a direct translation because it gives you a strength score of 19 while you wear them. And we don't have anything that gives you a base score. We do have It's not the same. It's not the same, but we do have sustained power, instant skill. No, that's not quite right. We'll look at it anyway because I brought it up. Instant skill. There we go. First rank sustained power, so I spend 1 mana, and while I leave that mana tapped, I can't get it back on a rest. But it also gives me I can stack this at 17. I can have 5 instant skills active at the same time. It'll cost me my 5 mana worth of tapped auras that I can generate. You gain proficiency in 1 skill or with 1 tool of your choice per mana sustaining this power. If you already have proficiency in the chosen skill, tool, or tool, you instead gain expertise, including a skill or tool you have proficiency in from sustaining this power. So you can spend 2 points at level 5, and I could, like, say, gain search, or like Thieves' Picks. I could gain proficiency in Thieves' Picks for 1 point and expertise in it for 2 points. So when I'm picking locks, I can now roll my dexterity plus expertise. Plus, if I want to spend power dice, I could. But yeah, instant skill. You gain proficiency in this stuff. It gives you proficiency or expertise. But what I should actually be thinking about, now that I caught up, what I should actually be thinking about is empowered ability. I need a space here. Flatten, flicker, pounce. Hold on. Maybe I fixed this already, but I see a flaw. I gotta fix it, otherwise I'll lose it. There. Okay, so empowered ability. Also a first level sustained power, so 1 mana. Choose 1 ability scorer. You have advantage on ability checks and saving throws with that ability. If I were to choose empowered ability on my strength, I would effectively be getting a +5 bonus because advantage equals +5. And that's a 20 in a stat, so technically it's better. That's what I was thinking about when I was looking at the Gauntlets of Ogre Power. But it's not really the same thing because it gives you the +4 it's strength 19. It gives you all the things that does. It gives you the carrying capacity, the attack and damage bonuses, the proficiency bonus, and the saving throw bonus. It's not the same. So Gauntlets of Ogre Power do not directly translate over. But if I did have them translate over, it would be something along the lines like if I were to use empowered ability to make these things, and it doesn't work, but if I had, it would be a first level power, which is worth 2 points. And then I could do, like, say, temporary mana, 1 point of mana, to provide for the first level power to basically pay for itself. That'd be 4 points. And that would come through as uncommon because uncommon has 4 points. But again, it doesn't directly translate. So Gauntlets of Ogre Power are not good examples of the system. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'll take those odds. We already did Javelin of Lightning. It worked great. Mariner's Armor already did that. Works great. Mithril Armor already did that. Works great. Potion of Giant Strength. That's going to give you that strength bonus. We already know that doesn't track. But let's look at it anyway. This is going to give you a set... It's going to give you a set strength for a period of time. Yeah, strength score. Your strength score changes to 21 for an hour. There you go. Like that's the same thing as Gauntlets of Ogre Power. It doesn't directly translate. So, but I want to look at the Potion of Pugilism. After you drink this potion, unarmed strikes you make deal an extra D6 force damage on hit. This effect lasts 10 minutes. The potion is a thick green liquid, tastes like spinach. So, D6 force damage. That's basically a first rank, or a level 1 psionic strike power, which does an extra tower die of damage. So, let's go look at that real quick. Let's look at psionic strike. Thank you. Sonic Strike. The weapon deals force or psychic damage instead of its normal type, your choice, and the creature you hit takes an extra power die of the chosen damage type, the chosen type of damage per mana expended. Bleh. And then the kicker is if I spend more mana, the creature has disadvantage on its next intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw before the start of your next turn. So whatever you make them do next, they'll have disadvantage on. So yeah, Sonic Strike, 1 mana. This is what, potion. What is it called? Sorry. Potion of Pugilism. Potion of Pugilism. 2 points equals Psionic Strike. 2 points equals 1 temporary mana. Psionic Strike. One power die of damage. Sonic Strike, level 1 strike power. So that's going to equal 4 equals uncommon, consumable, lasts 10 minutes. So that's going to cut its cost in half. So that's going to be 200 gold for that 10 minutes of 1 power die for free. Maybe that's worth it. DMG equals uncommon. But just as easily, we could make wraps of pugilism. So it always does D6 literally every time you hit if you want to. But if I was using a flame tongue at the same time, I would have to choose my bracers of pugilism or my flame tongue because I can't use a psionic strike and a flaming strike at the same time. So these things don't stack. Excuse me for a second. So yeah, but the potion of pugilism totally works. Super easy, barely inconvenient to build that one. So that's another victory. What else you got? What you got? Hit me. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. Quiver of Lana. Let's see how this shakes out. I hope you guys are having fun. I love doing this stuff. It's super fun. I'm willing to put in this work now and drudge through this because this is going to give us so much experience for when we actually start using this point system to build our own power gear. And there's just so much cool fucking shit we can make. I am so looking forward to it. DMG equals uncommon, but it's going to be probably another 2 or 3 sessions before we actually start building our own power gear. So go ahead and stick with me through this process and we'll get to the other side of it. So how does the quiver work? It's uncommon, so we can have up to 4 points. Show me what you got. Each of the quiver's 3 compartments connects to an interdimensional space that allows the quiver to hold numerous items while never weighing more than 2 pounds. The shortest compartment can hold up to 60 arrows, bolts, or similar objects. The mid-sized compartment holds up to 18 javelins or similar objects. The longest compartment holds up to 6 long objects, included such as bows, quarterstaffs, and spears. You can draw any item the quiver contains as if doing so from a regular quiver or scabbard. So it's basically a bag of holding for weapons. Props. However, how could we translate this into the martial power system? Let's look at ranged assault. Ranged assault is a level 1 sustained power. I tap 1 point of mana, and this power becomes basically a permanent magical aura on my character until I'm incapacitated or it's dispelled or I dismiss it. So I could have it at level 1. At level 5, I could have this and like another level 1 power at the same time. You gain the following benefits. When channeling, I don't like these asterisks.
I'm probably going to change them to a sword or something, or maybe even like an MTG symbol. I haven't decided yet. We'll get there. But when channeling this strike power with ranged weapons, the power die size is not reduced. Normally, as explained above, normally when you use a power, when you with a ranged weapon, like a first level character would use a D4 instead of a D6. A 9th level character would use a D6 instead of a D8. It's a little inconvenient mechanical design, and it's not that big of an impact, but psychologically it is. It sucks when your 9th level fighter is cracking off D8s normally, and then has to downshift to a D6 because they're firing a crossbow and trying to use powers with crossbows. It also adds a little bit of extra love to the ranger when they take the ranged prowess fighting style progression, and I think it's at level 6, their power die doesn't get reduced anymore. So it's always, if you were supposed to roll a D8 as a ranger with your ranged weapon and your melee weapons, it's always a D8. So it's a satisfying simplification, quality of life improvements. So, but reducing the damage by 1 die is a fair penalty for ranged weapons. It's a little less convenient for you as a player, and it does a little less damage as a character. You can still use powers with ranged weapons at close range. It's at far range you can't use them at all, and then even at closer range it's going to be that smaller power die. Let's see. So when channeling a strike power with ranged power, the power die size is unchanged. It doesn't matter unless you're channeling powers. That doesn't matter for the quiver. You can create non-magical ammunition for ranged weapons as part of an attack, which disappears after you hit or miss, which would include javelins, spears, hand axes, darts, shuriken, daggers, as well as crossbow, sling stone, and bow ammunition. I could, at any time, whenever I make a ranged weapon attack, or a thrown weapon attack, essentially, non-magical weapons with the thrown property as part of an attack. So it's like non-magical ranged ammunition, or an object with a thrown weapon, or if I have a special thrown weapon that I want to use, like an axe +2. I want to throw it, but I want it back. Alternatively, a thrown weapon can return to your hand after you hit or miss. So you can either just create and then the ammunition disappears as you throw it or fire it, or if it's a thrown weapon, it can return to you. Of course, ammunition, magical ammunition, is always consumable, so that can't ever return to you, but thrown melee weapons are not consumable. They are permanent items, so you should be able to get them back if you use this power. Or, again, you could just make non-magical gear of any type. So you always have infinite weapons to throw on demand. You just magic them into existence as part of the drawing action. You just basically wish it into existence and then fire it, and there it goes. Fun magical ability. So ranged assault is a level 1 power. So for 2 points equals ranged assault. And that is going to be beep, level 1 sustained power. And then for 2 points, we could put 2 points of mana into it. 1 temporary mana. Ranged assault. But what that effectively does is it ties up that space. If I use temporary mana, it's cheap to use temporary mana, and we'll show you why. But it's cheap. So if I take Quiver of Elhana, I can create infinite ammunition, but this is tying up the level 1 slot, aura slot that I have at level 1. At level 5, I have 2, but if I have Quiver of Elhana, if I'm attuned to that, I'm permanently reducing the amount of powers I can channel off of my own mana by 1, because the Quiver of Elhana's attunement is eating 1 of them. Alternatively, we could make using a sustained power perpetual for 4 extra points. That would take this to 6 points. That would make this that a rare magic item. But if we do, it doesn't tie up any of our own personal mana. So it's just an extra free sustained enchantment that we have on our character by attuning to it instead. You see how that works? At 5th level, I could still have 2 levels of power and attune to the Quiver of Elhana because I made it a rare magic item instead of uncommon. As an uncommon item, when I use it, it pays the mana to sustain that power for me, but I'm still sustaining it. It's just a magic item pays for it. But even more than that, just the level 1 power by itself, just having, effectively by attuning to the quiver, I now have ranged assault prepared, but nothing is paid for it. And that's only 2 points. So that's a common magic item. So I could pick up a version of the quiver where all it does is it allows me to create ammunition, but I have to pay for that myself out of my own mana pool. So it's now a common magic item. So a level 1 character that gets like a level 1 or 2 or 3 level character that only has 1 mana they can channel at a time, I might have more important things like damage types, combat masteries, and fighting styles that I want to buff my character out with. So I've got a whole bunch of passive bonuses that remain active at all time, and I've used up all of the prepared powers. Like at level 3, I only have I have 6 prepared powers. So like that could be like what Grape Weapon Master I think is. Hold on, let's go look. Yeah, I could easily take alert. Alert, and I could take, if I wanted to, I could have Savage Attacker, so I could reroll dice. That's 2. I could take Great Weapon Fighting. That's 3, giving me my bonus on my 2-handed weapon. And then I also have 2-weapon fighting. I'm already up to 4. And now on top of that, I want to take Push as a mastery, and Topple. That's 6. That's 6 right there. I mean, that's a lot of cool passive benefits that I'm getting as a character. I'm going to be able to raffle stomp shit. You know, that's level 3. But if I then get the Elhana Quiver at level 4, I've got that point of mana left over, and I'm not necessarily doing anything with it, but I've got 3 points of mana to spend, and I can only sustain 1 level 1 power with it, and I'll have 2 mana left over. So I could easily, if I got the Elhana magic item as just a common magic item that it allows me to prepare ranged assault, I could then spend my own point of mana and fill and block that one, tap that 1 channel of mana for my level 1 sustained power. I still have 2 mana open for me to use as I need, and I still have all my masteries and my fighting styles. For example, there you go. But as listed, Quiver of Elhana, if we build it this way, it's compliant. So, but we just saw there's 3 different ways we could have built this item. And when we build these items, we're going to build them as progressive stats from, if we can, starting at common, like this Quiver of Elhana, we'll have an evolving magic item. It'll start as common, it'll evolve into uncommon, and then it will become a rare item where we get the power. It now pays for the power but uses our channel. And then by the time it gets to a rare magic item, it is an extra power that we can have prepared and sustained beyond our normal character's capabilities. And then we can have a very rare version that like adds on some extra combat feats, like also gives you like the archery feat while you're using it. And then we can take the legendary, where it's like, you get like the crossbow expert feat for free with it as well. So like loading property no longer matters when you're wielding the legendary Quiver of Elhana. So we can do this magic item progression system, kind of like they're introducing in the Arcana Unearthed, the new supplement that WotC released, but like actually more useful. So you can take it through your entire character's career. That like at level 3 you pick up this quiver, and by the time you get to level 17, you're just an absolute monster because you have this legendary gear on you. So it would just be up to you to pump more points into it, and that's what we can include. Ideas like that, or we can also include in the Magic Point system that we're going to then publish on the DMs on my Patreon. This evolving magic item stuff is going to be in the magic item chapter of martial powers, like we're talking, but we're going to actually do a point breakdown and blend spells and powers together without necessarily explaining where they came from, to then build this deck without violating the publishing rules of DMsGuild for the martial powers, while still creating something completely new and independent that has scaling points that we can use. I digress. That's the idea. Hopefully you guys think that's cool, because that's I'm really looking forward to working on that. So Bob's Your Uncle, Quiver of Lahana completely works. So again, when they built the Quiver, they didn't have things like sustaining mana to have sustained powers. So we can ignore the fact that it doesn't, like, does that jive? Does that take away from your character? Yeah, but it wouldn't have mattered back in the day. Anyway, I digress. Let's see, what's the next piece of gear? Saddle of the Cavalier. Cavalier. Does this translate? While in the saddle of a mount, you can't be dismounted against your will if you're unconscious, and attack rolls against the mount have disadvantage. What feat is that? Isn't there a saddle feat, like a horsemanship feat? Am I crazy? And if there is, why isn't it on my list? Where are my general feats? Where are my general feats at? What the fuck supplements am I in? Is this just like the generic rules? Basic rules. Fuck you. Oh my god, this book is so poorly. I hate this website. It's such garbage. Rules, thank you. Partner content, fuck off. Why is it fighting style craft? Where's general? Where does it say fucking general feats? There it is. Oh my god, this is the worst. You see that, Tripe? Fucking A. You rolled a 1. What the fuck? Yeah, general feats. Because it's typoed. It's fucking typoed. You see that? General. It's typoed. Can you fucking believe that?
Epic boon, core rules,
Filter. See? Here's all the epic boons. Because it's typoed. Can you fucking believe that? Oh my god.
How many millions of dollars did you spend on this goddamn website? Jesus Christ. I hate this fucking website.
That is the worst.
Okay, let's I guess we'll just go through.
We'll go through the book itself. Good thing I actually own the book, huh? Own the book. I have it on their website. I have to have a stolen PDF copy because their website goes down occasionally. That's right, I said it. I have pirated copies of all the books that I've purchased on on D&D Beyond. Why? Because D&D Beyond isn't reliable. All right, let's see if we can find. What is up with this font color? It's like they're really just trying to piss me off. Okay, here we are. Let's see what we can find. If we can actually... I know there's a horseman feat. It's not Charger. I'm going to open it anyway, but that's not it. God, this is infuriating. I hope Watsy's watching. I hope you're embarrassed. Do better. I know it has to exist. Come on, buddy. Wasn't there a... Am I crazy? Oh, yeah, Weapon Master. That was the feat, right? Gain proficiency in a weapon? Yeah. Mastery property, one kind of simple or martial weapon. Thank you. And you can change it when you take a long rest. Yeah, there you go. Long bow and short bow. I was right. I was right about the braces of archery. Thank you. I can't. I could swear. I could swear there was a horseman feat. Why is it? Is it an origin feat? Am I missing it? Okay. Zoltan Boros, whatever, dude. Yeah, it just wasn't here. That's goofy. Okay, well, I guess that just basically means there's no direct translation. I could swear there was Charger. Yeah, dash action. Okay, let's ask the world. 5.5e D&D. Is there a feat that improves mounted combat? Isn't it called mounted combat? Mountain combative feat. Why did I not see that? There it is. Thank you. Mounted combatant. Leap aside. Your mount is subjected to the effect. That was frustrating, guys. You can't be dismounted while you're conscious, and attack rolls against your mount have disadvantage. Where'd it go? Mounted, you have advantage on attack rolls against any unmounted creatures within 5 feet of the mount. That is a size small. One size smaller than the mount. Leap aside. If your mount is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, and instead takes no damage if it succeeds the saving throw, and only half damage if it fails. For your mount to gain this benefit, you must be riding it, and neither of you can have the incapacitated condition. And Veer. While mounted, you can force an attack that hits your mount to hit you instead. And if you don't have the incapacitated condition. Yeah, anytime you take a hit. I use Veer as a default trait for your Beast Companion when you take the Beastmaster subclass. All of your companions have Veer, whether you're riding them or not. You can always just take damage for them. So there's no direct translation. So the Cavalier's Saddle, is that what it's called? Saddle of the Cavalier. This doesn't have a direct translation. But it is disadvantage, and we do have a point value for disadvantage on attacks. And let's go look at that. Where'd you go? There we go. Disadvantage weapon attacks versus you. That's 4 points. 4 points is uncommon. So, yeah. Saddle of the Cavalier actually works. Four equals attacks have disadvantage against your mount. Boy, it's hot. I need some water. Holy Hannah. Boy. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I rant a little bit, sure. But I appreciate being around. So yeah, Saddle of the Cavalier. That totally worked out. What's next? Sword of Vengeance, Trident of Fish... yeah, Trident of Fish Command. I think we already did that one. Weapon of Warning, we did that one. Let's go look at the Trident... Hold on. Let's verify. Oh, yeah, that one didn't jive because it's like Dominate Creatures. It's like Dominate Beast or something. Yeah. That one didn't pan out. Let's go look at it real quick. Just to be thorough. Yeah, Dominate Beasts. That is a 4th level spell. Fourth level spell is a rare magic item. So yeah, that didn't pan out. They made it artificially low level because like who needs to talk to fish? It's like an Aquaman ability. It's worthless. So they even downgraded it, but it doesn't pan out with our point value. So we gingerly stepped over it. So, hey, we just got through the uncommon items. Cheers, right? How are we doing on time? 8 o'clock? How about I do rare, and then I cut stream, and then Saturday when we come back, we're going to continue working on these. So when we come back on Saturday, we'll get done with rare, and then on Saturday we'll do very rare and legendary, and then depending on the time, because I have to run the Mecha Kaiju campaign on Saturday. I might cut stream short, but then on Monday when we come back around, we'll then go down into the implements. And we'll get through the common, uncommon, and rare for implements. And then by Thursday, finish the implements on legendary. And then we'll be ready by Saturday next week for us to start building our evolving power gear. I think that's what we're going to do. So, cool. Let's go ahead and if rare happens to go by quickly, cool. We already did ammunition. We already did armor. We already did armor resistance. We already did armor vulnerability. Arrow catching shield. We did that. Belt of giant strength gives you a flat bonus. We already know that doesn't work. We already did the berserker axe. We've already... Ooh, Deer's instant fortress. We have not done this one. We did the dagger of venom. Dragon Slayer we looked at. Elven chain and spelled armor and weapons we did. Flame Tongue Giant Slayer. We have not done the Horn of Blasting. We have not done the Horn of Valhalla. We have not looked at the Protection Iron Stone. Yes, Mace, Mace, Mace. We already know Potion of Giant Strength doesn't work. Potion of Heroism probably doesn't work, but let's take a look at it. Potion of Invulnerability probably doesn't pan out, but let's take a look at it anyway. Ring of Protection, we'll look at that. Ring of the Ram, we'll look at that. Oh my god, yeah, we're going to be done. We've already done Shield plus 2, Missile Attraction, Sunblade, sort of Life Stealing, sort of Wounding. Already done all those. Tentacle Wand. Let's do Tentacle Rod. We already did Vicious Weapon, and then we have not done Wraps of Unarmed Power. Oh, we missed Wraps of Unarmed Power as a common, as an uncommon item. Let's do that one first. That's a bunch of items. Let's see if we can get through these. +1 bonus to attack rolls. Those strikes deal your choice of force damage or normal. Ooh, and these are uncommon. Okay. Challenge accepted. Hold on. I missed these. Wraps of unarmed power. Let's see. 2 equals +1 enchantment bonus +1 weapon bonus enchantment. And then force damage is an advanced damage type. That's worth 2 equals force damage. Advanced damage technique. Boy, didn't that just pan out. Again, looking at our table. Uncommons up to 4 points. A +1 enchantment bonus is 2 points. And advanced damage types is 2 points. And again, our list of advanced damage types includes force, necrotic, psychic, radiant, and thunder damage. So force damage is worth 2 points. The +1 enchantment bonus is 2 points. That's 4 points. There you go. Wraps. Kudos. Okay, cool. So that one was easy. Darren's Instant Fortress. I don't know if this one's going to pan out. I suspect it won't. As a magic action, you can place this 1-inch adamantine statuette on the ground and use the command word grows to rapidly into a square adamantine tower. Repeating the command word causes the tower to revert to statuette form, which works only if the tower is empty. Each creature in the area while the terror appears is pushed to an unoccupied space outside, but next to the tower. Objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried are also pushed clear of the tower. 20 feet on the side, 30 feet high. Yeah, there's no way this doesn't translate. I'm just going to go ahead and just gingerly step over Darren's tower and go to the Horn of Black. There's no guarantee this is going to pan. All bets are off with rare magic items forward. Magic action, 30-foot cone, 600 feet. Audible, okay. Each creature in the area makes a con 15 saving throw on a failed save, takes 5d8 thunder damage, and has the deafened condition for 1 minute. Or on a successful save, a creature takes half damage. Glass or crystal objects in the cone that aren't being worn or carried takes 10d8 thunder damage, so it's double damage against objects. Each use of the Hero of the Horn's magic has a 20% chance of causing the horn to explode. Explosion deals 10d6 force damage to the user and destroys the horn. Holy crap. Okay, that's effectively a fireball with that. It's effectively a fireball. It's a cone instead of a sphere that does double damage to objects. So, and there's no way to calculate the 20%. That's like a curse. It's zany. It doesn't directly translate. So I'm just gonna let that one go. It doesn't work. I'm gonna let it go. Valhalla, what? I summon spirits. Berserker stat block. Summon a CR2 creature. Yeah, that doesn't directly jive either. We don't have summonings in the martial power system. Iron Stone of Protection only. +1 bonus armor class. While the Dusty Rose Prism orbits your head. +1 bonus on our system, a +1 bonus AC is only 2, which is a common magic item, not a rare magic item. So, I mean, that's a pretty big difference there. So that doesn't really jive. But whatever. Iron Stone of Protection. +2 points equals common. DMG equals rare. We could do it this way. Hold on. This doesn't jive, but let's do it this way. 2 for power shield.
Yeah, I'll show you power shield. We looked at it before, but let's look at it again.
Because it's cool. Power shield, level 1 sustained power. You create a defensive field of power that can be wielded as a shield that you are proficient with. The shield hovers in your space to protect you, leaving your hands free. You gain a +3 bonus to your armor class, and you can only benefit from. So basically, it's a magical plus shield plus. It's a magical shield +1 that you do not have to hold. So I could see you putting that into an Ioun Stone, and it becomes your shield, and you don't have to hold it. So now you have basically a spinning energy shield around you in the form of an Ioun Stone. I think that's super fun. And if we want to tie down, we can make it perpetual for 4 points equals perpetual sustained power shield. That is level 1 sustained power. That's 6 points. Which is rare. So we just basically built a better Ioun Stone. It doesn't tie up any of your own channels because it's basically funding it. It's basically attuning to it is separate. So it doesn't eat up any of your ranks. Equals 6 equals rare. I'm not going to put exclamation points on it because it's not actually accurate, but when we build power gear, we can make this an Ioun Stone of shielding. Diamond. Is there
a diamond already?
Lavender, deep red, dark blue, pink, lavender and green, blue, marbled scarlet and blue, pink and green, green, dusty rose, white, pearly white, purple prism. There you go. So diamond is open. Frosted Diamond. How about that? Cool. And that's an armament. And we could go through the same advancement: 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, and 8 points, and then 10 points, and yeah. So we can advance that through its evolutions as well. That's a good start. So that's resolved. Potion of Heroism, 10 temporary hit points, lasts an hour. Rare item. Okay. Rally. First level power, level 1 maneuver. You and an ally you can see within range gains a number of temporary hit points equal to 1 roll of your power die per mana expended. So if it was a 2 mana rally, it would be 2d6, 2d8, or 2d10. And at 2d10, it would be 10 hit points. It would be 8. Actually, it'd be 11 at 17. It'd be 9 at 9th level, and it would be 4 at first level, or first or fifth level. So not very useful. It could be. Okay, so how much is two temporary mana? That's the question. That's the answer, really. However that shakes out equals answer. 2 temporary mana is 4, and it's a first level. Yeah, okay, that works. That actually works out. We'll go with it. It's not perfect, but it's there. It's a good. It's a close demonstration. Potion of Heroism. DMG equals rare. Okay, so 2 equals rally. Level 1 maneuver. 4 points equals 2 temporary mana. Rally to power dice temp HP. And then half cost equals potion equals 2,000. That's 2,000 fucking GP. That's expensive. I wouldn't do it. But the way that we built it, while it lasts, you could use it over and over again, so you can continue to refresh your hit points. And that actually does make it worth 2,000. You basically, as a bonus action, you could just at any time roll another 2 dice to refresh your temporary hit points for yourself and somebody else. That's a little beyond what a potion would expect to do, but it is a rare item. For some reason, they price tagged it at rare. So it's worth 2,000 gold to make this monster. I don't think it's not a great example of like this is not how I would design powers. Like this wouldn't be a good power design, but you know what it is. I'm not gonna bitch too much. Let's keep moving. Potion of Invulnerability. For 1 minute after you drink this potion, you have resistance to all damage. That's a rare item. For 1 minute. Okay. Let's go to Indestructible. You gain resistance to all damage types and attacks against you can't score a critical hit. So that's a level 4 sustained power. I don't think this is gonna jive. Level 4 sustained power. That's gonna have a budget of at least 6 points by itself. Yeah, level 4 power is 5 points. And then, well, hold on. Maybe we're okay. It lasts 1 minute. Oh my god. 1 minute a day is plus 1 point. That's 6 points. This actually works. Oh my god. That I did not expect that. I really just did not expect that. What a shocker. Okay, awesome. Cool. Potion of invulnerability. I'm shocked. So 5 points equals indestructible. Level 4. Come on, sustained power. And then 1 equals 1 minute duration. Indestructible. That actually jived. The Potion of Heroism does not jive at all. I'm going to ditch it. But that Potion of Invulnerability completely worked. I am so surprised that actually worked. You can dismiss it early and gain immunity to 1 damage type until the end of your next round, which I think is a great way to cap off a Potion of Invulnerability, honestly. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. What's next? We got 6 more to go, so let's see what we can do. What time is it? It's 8:27. We're almost there. Stay on target. We just did you. Rain of Protection. +1 bonus. Rare, huh? Well, we had that same problem with the Ioun Stone of Protection, so... Okay, let's look at... Let's look at the defense feat. Wasn't there a fighting style called defense? Fighting styles, thank you. Defense. +1 bonus armor class. Yeah, okay, we'll let it slide. But, yeah, that's just 1 point. That's just common. That's just common. It's a fighting style. It's common. So, that doesn't really jive. Stick with me here. We'll go with Armor of Defense. Common. 1 equals while 1 equals defense fighting style. While wearing this armor, you gain the benefit of the defense fighting style of +1 AC bonus to the armor. There, that's a non-magical version. That's like armor of quality. Anyone remember that from 2nd and 3rd edition? Quality weapons, expert craftsmanship of quality gives you a +1 non-magical bonus to attacks and damage for weapons, and a +1 non-magical bonus to armor class for a weapon of armor of quality. So this is essentially the same thing. Full plate would normally be an armor class 18, but The common version, Armor of Defense, it's a +1 on top of that. So, and then for an extra 2 points, you get the +1 enchantment. So for an uncommon armor, you get the Armor of Defense, and you get the +1 enchantment bonus. So Armor of Defense, and then uncommon is for 2 points equals +1 AC enchantment bonus. And then for rare, it has a total of like +2 points here. And then rare could be up to +7, up to +3 points. And then very rare can have up to another +3 points. And then legendary can have another +4 points. So that's your evolving magic item. So when you hit, like when you get this item, the way that hold on, I'll just write it here. Evolving items are evolving item rarity is equal to your power tier. Level rarity 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, 17 to 20. Legendary. Very rare. See, it automatically becomes that item while you're attuned to it at these different levels. So I can give you Armor of Defense at level 3, and it's just like leather armor +1. It just gives you a +1 because of the defense fighting style. But then once you become level 5, it then gets the automatic enchantment bonus of +2. And then at rare, it'll automatically get the enchantment bonus again, so it's +3 armor, and I can potentially have some extra points laying around that I can start accumulating. At very rare, actually at rare, at very rare, with 8 points, it becomes a +3 armor, so a total of +4 bonus, the defense and the +3 enchantment plus the base armor. It's like full plate would become basically full plate AC 22, and I'd have 3 points left over for like roll with the hit as a prepared power level 1, and it channels 1 mana. So every time I use my reaction, roll with the hit is a 2nd level power, so that'd be 3 mana. So I get the roll with the hit power prepared for free, but it costs me 2 mana every time I use it. But that'd have to come out of my own budget, either by sacrificing action economy to generate the mana, or by just pulling it from my mana pool. Or if I have a mana battery, like a bunch of mox crystals laying around, I could plug into it. But that would be a way of doing progression with that. So, and we'll see that as we proceed. But yeah, that's the idea, Armor of Defense. And as it evolves. So like that would be something like something like that. That's how it's basically going to pan out. So it just evolves with your character as you grow. So again, like if you're 10th level, your DM is going to give you a rare magic item. Well, there you go. It's going to count as a rare magic item because it evolves. But you can basically give it to him anywhere along the way. So, all right, let's keep at it. That was a good find. That worked. I think that one worked really, really well. And hey, we're almost done. Ring of the Ram. That's a great picture. The ring has 3 charges. Gains 3 charges when you rest. Magic action. Spend 1 3 charges. Range spell attack. Yeah. The ring produces a spectral ram's head and makes an attack roll +7 bonus on the hit. Each charge spent, the target takes 2d10 force damage and is pushed 5 feet away. How far? 60 feet, huh? Or break a non-magical object that you can see within 60 feet of yourself. That doesn't directly translate. The 2 mana is basically going to come down to 6 points, which is in rare territory, 5 to 7 rare territory. And the push mastery basically pushes them 5 feet. This is essentially a ranged assault weapon that deals force damage. And requires a strike power, like the martial power. So that would be 8 points. That takes it into the very rare territory. That's beyond the scope of the Reign of the Ram. I like the Reign of the Ram, but it doesn't directly translate. Alternatively, it's essentially just a 5th level cantrip with a push mastery attached to it, and that's only 2 points. So in my world, that's either common or very common. So like, let's go to I wasn't supposed to do this, but I find myself doing it anyway. Blasting ring. For 2 points equals cantrip. 2d10 force damage. 20 feet. 60 foot range. Channeling. Yeah, ranged spell attack. And then for like it becomes like a +1 enchantment, and it gets push mastery. Common. Uncommon. And then we'd have the charges reduce the cost. I acknowledge that, but there again, we're looking at the idea of scaling this thing up to do more and more stuff. So it's going to be a +1 ranged weapon, 60-foot range. Does 2d10 force damage on hit. As an uncommon magic item, it's +1 to hit and damage, and it has the push mastery. Rare, we can push it another 3 points. Very rare, another 3 points on top of that. And then legendary, another 4 points on top of that. Like, we could be doing crazy fucking shit with this thing by the time we actually get the legendary, like a telekinesis ring. Possibly, I don't know. We'll see where it goes, what it becomes. I'm liking this idea of creating these bundled packages, and blasting ring just sounds like a fun idea. So we're gonna put that down for the to-dos. I like this song a lot. Tentacle rod. 3 rubbery tentacles while holding the rod. You can make a magic action about the tentacles, stretch outward when attacking a creature. When you attack, plus on bonus, attack deals psychic damage on hit. If the hit, all 3 tentacles. If you hit the same target with all 3 tentacles, the target must make a dexterity saving throw or have the restrained condition until you have the incapacitated condition. Until you take a bonus action, release the target, or until the target is no longer within 15 feet of you. While restrained this way, the target takes 3d6 psychic damage at the start of each of its turns. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make a save to end the effect. I'm not going... That's a little off-kilter. I'm going to let that one go. And then Wraps of Unarmed Power +2. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Okay, cool. Hey. We got through the rare items. So next stop is going to be... very rare. Did that one. Those don't jive. Did that. Maybe not. Don't know. Let's just pull them out. Horn. Ironstone. Lute of Thunderous Thumping. We did that one already. Manual of Gainful Exercise. That's probably not going to translate. Let's grab it. Did that one. Oathbow did that. Well, Sharpness, not yet. Nope. Quarterstaff of Acrobat. That is not going to jive because that's one of the D&D cartoon items that's broken. Scimitar of Speed did that. Shield did that. Shield did that. Spellguard did that. Sword Sharpness did that. Thunderous Great Club. That was Bobby's a club from the D&D cartoon. That doesn't jive. That jives. That jives. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items from very rare. And then no. Yes, we did. Did not do. did. Cannot do. Did not do. Did. So we only have Horn of Valhalla and the Rod of Lordly Might. So we've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items to do on Saturday. And then we do the implements. So we might outside chance get all of this done on Saturday, and then we start building new stuff on Monday. Hey, what's up? Hey, Chrono, it's good to see you, my dude. I think Bear Trap of Mind Trap, which makes multiple attacks against someone like the Tentacle Rod does, could make sense. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. But as a weapon event, like I said, we're going to build them out as scaling items. So we already have the idea of spell traps as consumable items that don't consume the trap but have 1 charge on them. So when you enchant the item, it holds 1 spell per day. It can use once, and it's basically like a spell storing item. Whoever steps on the trap or basically starts their turn or enters the space of the trap before it's been triggered, triggers the trap, and they either become the target or the point of origin for an area of effect spell. So you could put a fireball in it, you could put a raise dead spell in it and drop a corpse on it and it'll just pop them back to life. You could do like an Eldritch Blast cantrip where it hits the target with the Eldritch Blast. Spell traps are fucking great, and it's an object interaction to deploy them. So like if you're using quick utility as part of a move action, you can throw this down on the ground behind you without breaking stride. And if somebody's chasing you, they enter the space of the trap, and then bam, they get hit with a whole person. And that disables the trap. It's done. You just gave them a whole person trap. But it works once a day. So cheers. There you go. Sure. Yeah. I'm just trying to say I agree. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It does not. Yeah, but absolutely. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a shitload of fun making magic items. Oh my god, it's good. Just making them evolving items, like having like 40 evolving magic items, that is going to be super freaking cool. Yeah, because they're traps. They only use an object interaction. So, yeah, and if you take the quick utility, that becomes part of your movement. So it's really easy to deploy the traps. So you can just basically like flip them out there. If you could build a character around like a ranger character that just has an investment of a whole bunch of magical traps, just to lay in a whole bunch of ranger spells into them, like lightning arrow as a trap. You set that up in a hallway or something, and you can seal it. So when they hit it, the hallway gets hit with the lightning bolts. That'd be super fun. Ensnaring strike, it pops, and now you're restrained until you can break free. And now you have advantage to attack them, so you can lay that as a trap. And again, the healing and defensive traps, like you can have a trap of haste. So like you can throw a trap of haste out there in front of your fighter as he charges in towards an enemy. You throw the trap out there as as a held action. Reaction, trigger, object interaction. Throw out the trap. He then runs through the space of the trap, and pow! Now he's been hit with a haste spell, or is now sustained by the trap with a celerity power to be able to make more attacks and move more quickly. That's a super fun interaction. In I'm wrapping up for the day, so I'm done for the day. We're gonna come back. We're gonna work more on this on Saturday before we have our game on Saturday morning. But just to wrap it up, in 3rd edition, the DMG had a thorough list of gold piece and XP costs for just any kind of magic item you can possibly imagine. Kind of like this point breakdown that we're doing here ourselves, but as everything with 3rd edition to the ridiculous nth degree. But when the adventurers when Complete Adventurer came out, it had spell traps. Like for it literally had spell traps. That was exactly what I'm talking about. And when we would use them, we would build like lairs, like fortresses, like what they now call bastions. But we would set up all sorts of permanent traps in there, like the raised dead trap. There was the paralysis trap. There was the haste trap, and we'd have them set up in different areas. So if we ever got ambushed while we were resting, we would be able to basically run to hit them, and then go through a series of traps to trigger all these magical buff effects onto our characters. So by the time we closed distance with the enemy, we had like 4 or 5 different spell buffs running on us, like heroism, bless, haste, invulnerability. Just stack them up as we ran towards the target, and then we would have hide points where, like, if things were going bad, we could dip off to the side and run through a ward that would hit us with a heal spell, and like another one would be like remove curse or greater restoration. There'd be these different little silos that we could run through as basically entering the space to trigger the trap, with putting blessed spells on them to help buff our characters. So we had both offensive, we had buffing spells, repair defense spells, and then we had attack spells that we'd then be able to throw out or lead creatures into traps. So we like make our own dungeons, our dungeon layers, and set up these different trap nodes to be able to buff our characters and screw the enemies as they came through. And of course, as a DM, I was allowed to use that too. So the team had to keep an eye out. Like, looking for traps was super fucking important, because there were spell traps like this all over the place once that got introduced into our games. So any lair with any kind of a magic user, like it'd be druid-themed spell traps, or cleric-themed traps, or wizard-themed traps that you would have like just strewn about their around their lair to help their minions, or to buff themselves, or give them escape routes, like a dimension door trap that only would work once a day. So once he steps through it, you can't follow him. You don't know where he went, because like there's like an underground river 300 feet down that he knows about that you haven't found yet because you haven't tremor sensed for it, and it'll drop him down and he'll just land in a boat, and then he lands in the boat and he just kicks the moor, and then he's off down the river and he's escaped, and it's going to take you for fucking ever to find him, unless you thoroughly researched that region and knew that was an option, or somehow did the scrying and the magical analysis that you needed, or like commune in other planes and blah blah. Anyway, traps are fucking fun, and I am excited about reintroducing them into the game. So, but that's where we're going to leave today's session. This has been just an absolute blast. I thanks a lot for showing up, guys, and hanging out with me while I'm doing this. I'm looking forward to processing this stuff, and Saturday's going to be a lot of fun. If for some reason we don't finish these items on Saturday, well, we got to finish these and then get through the implements. And so, if on Saturday we don't get through the implements, we'll probably finish the implements on Monday. And then that means that Thursday next week, this time next week, we're going to be making evolving magic items using power gear. Our objective is 40, to build them out, to have like a good, robust section. That'll probably end up being like maybe 25, 30 pages in the book, but I think it's totally going to be worth it. It'll totally be worth having all those items in there. Because again, Chrono, we were talking about this before. I've decided to go ahead and just lock down for the Artificer. They have the list of items that they have as listed in the Forge of the Artificer, but at level 2, you can do common magic items. So all these evolving items that we build will have a common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary evolutions. So any common item, your Artificer can learn the plans to. And then as they gain ranks, like 2, 6, 10, 14, 18 go from common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. And so they can just keep evolving these items. Like, here's the stack of items that exist in the game, and like the quiver, like the rare version of the quiver. By level 10, I can start making magical plans as that, with my Artificer on top of the spell traps and the power stones, the mana crystals, and the mana potions. That's everything. So there you go. Yes! Oh my god, that'd be a great legendary action. Or like have a trap work, like have a recharge cycle. Like it's like the level of rarity. Like a legendary item only resets on a 6. Very rare. Resets on a 5 or a 6 down the line to a common level trap. Resets on a 1 or a 2 on a 2 or above on a D6, and for everybody a 1 always fails. So the higher rarity the magic item is, the less likely it is to trigger. But every time it triggers, we have that die rolling to potentially have it reset. And once it resets, then it becomes a hazard that the team can either use or have to avoid. And the villain, the lair's villain and minions will know about the lair, and maybe there's a tell that the lair denizens know what that tell is, but you don't. So if you can identify what the tell is, you'll know when traps are reactivating or not. So it becomes a more dynamic environment to play around with. Ooh, fuck. I gotta play with that. I'm sad I didn't think about that when we were doing our level 3 to 10 Under Earth Delve, the Temple of Tortured Kobolds. That was a fun mega dungeon. I wish I had thought about that, because I could have really leaned into that as an idea. Maybe I'll just start adding those. Yeah. Like that winter hag, that winter witch fight that we just went through on Saturday. Having some of these spell traps would have been really, really bad news for you guys. Honestly, the way that it was calibrated with the 3 of you, that was a really, really close fight. I love that battle. That was so cool. If there was 4 of you, spell traps would have been really nice to have in there to add up a little bit more difficulty without having to add more bodies to the board. I'm going to keep that in mind in the future. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to be playing with that. Anyway, that's it. I got to go. I'm going to have a night. I'm going to be back in the morning to continue working on our victim Etten and the Martial Powers book cover. We'll be back Saturday morning to continue this endeavor. Monday morning we'll be back for more Martial Power book cover, and then Monday night we'll either finish this or then start in on our own unique magic items. So stay tuned, guys. Like, subscribe, blah de blah. Hey, what's this? Last comment. Also, if a trap's reaction D6 requires the dungeon owner to push mana in... Oh! But no, pushing mana could reset it quicker. That could be a thing. Pushing red mana could disable... Oh, that's so fun! Yeah, I love that idea. There's a ton of stuff that we can play with that. Absolutely. Or like there could be like a mana battery in the room that automatically resets things, but as the mana wears down, the traps start to fall away, so you can start disabling the hazards in the room by wearing down the mana supply, or by using countering like enemy color, like you said, like red having either white or green mana pump into it to take away, like to dispel mana from it to drop the traps sooner. That would be fun. That's a fun idea too, as like a puzzle interaction idea. That's super cool. Good thinking, Chrono. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I will see you all in the morning. Later, guys. Thanks a lot.